Over the years, we've seen some pretty ridiculous photos in the supercar world. Who can forget the Veyron in the lake, the Enzo split in two, or Alex Choi's Huracan towing an Urus? But we've never seen anything quite like this. You're watching Auto Anorak, and let's get straight into the hypercar photos that have totally dominated Instagram over the last day or so. It's like an unreleased alternate reality version of Storage Wars, and you'd be bang on with that assumption because these photos aren't real. They're hyper-realistic renderings by an absolute wizard called the Dizzy Viper, who's one of the most spectacular Instagram accounts I've ever witnessed. The account originally started out with cyberpunk-esque work, but has now fledged out into some of the most insane renderings of abandoned supercars, beginning with a Countach in a swamp, which is a kind of iconic car to be in a heap of mess, just like Jordan Belfort's white and white Countach. Then we've got our first abandoned Bugatti, which, to be fair, you can tell this is a render, but you almost don't care because the mood the photo creates is so surreal. And then something rather heartbreaking that would bring any petrolhead to tears. One of my favourite comments said that this is a Forza Horizon barn find in 2050, and they're exactly right. A rather sad, abandoned Pagani Huayra BC. Later on, we get a more fitting Horizon barn find in the shape of this 250 GTO, but those are the only abandoned photos before we get into the seriously viral stuff, and it's for good reason. The first photo of this Senna could honestly fool you that it's a picture of some dodgy owner's abandoned McLaren Senna that they had to hide away whilst on the run. It's got cobwebs, tyre marks, photorealistic dust, and the flash camera effect is spot on. As sad as this would be to see in real life, it's such a vibey picture. Proceeding on from this, we have my favourite car in the world, or rather an entire squadron of abandoned Lamborghini Aventadors. Even though this isn't real, I still can't help but cry a little bit inside from seeing this spectacle. And speaking of Lambos, the Lamborghinis just keep getting crazier. The Centenary looks so out of place with its window wiper stuck up, and a box hanging out of the side window carelessly chucked beside a stack of chairs. And it only gets crazier from there. We've got a Lamborghini Cyan on a lift with cobwebs, stopping the scissor doors from opening. Absolute madness. I'll try not to show the next one for too long for you Lambo lovers, but this almost looks like an abandoned Lamborghini factory stopped in time, albeit the back rooms of the factory. You can see multiple SVJs and even some Huracans floating about. Also, potentially one of the only cars that could actually be abandoned somewhere deep in Russia these days is the Cullinan, an absolute brute, and I guarantee there will be an abandoned Cullinan image out there somewhere eventually. Finally, I'm gonna round this off with the hypercars you all wanted to see. We've of course got a Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport in a near identical copper colour to Andrew Tate's Bugatti Chiron. You've got to love how carelessly abandoned this thing is, lying on top of pallets with bin bags, lampshades, and just about everything a $5.2 million Bugatti shouldn't have around it. I wonder if Tate will ever let his Bugatti get into such a state someday. Then we've got some members of the Holy Trinity, and one of the only pictures that doesn't trump real life with this McLaren P1 that, whilst abandoned and dusty, still doesn't hold a candle to the recent events in Florida this year with that flooded P1. Another member of the Holy Trinity is the LaFerrari, also left neglected on pallets and caked in dust. Don't forget to subscribe if you liked this video, and go into the description below if you'd like the kind of abandoned car content, because I've got some pretty cool videos from the Brunei garages which are filled with abandoned supercars, far crazier than this, like McLaren F1s and stuff, so you might enjoy those videos, but other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.